What does hope even feel like when you're just staring down pure despair?
Mm.
Lenore Dove, who we'll talk a lot about today, she actually called the meadow near her home, which sounds lovely, right? She called it the friend of the condemned.
Yeah, that contract, it's stark. And
Yeah.
it really sets the stage for what we're looking at today.
Right.
We're really getting into some specific moments from Sunrise on the Reaping, thinking about how these characters, well, how they cope, how they survive under the immense pressure of the Hunger Games system.
It's about their survival tactics, sure, but also the bonds they form, the, tiny ways they resist being completely broken down.
And finding that humanity within it all.
Yeah. And as we explore this, you might find it useful to check out our YouTube channel. It's called Mindful Moments.
Ah, yes.
It uses AI to analyze books, like this one, actually. It offers another way to sort of reflect and think critically about these big themes.
Good suggestion. So where should we start? Maybe with Hattie and the still.
Yes, let's. Because that small thing, being allowed to stir the mash, it's framed almost like a promotion.
Which tells you everything about how limited their world is, doesn't it? Even a tiny bit of progress, or perceived progress, feels huge. It's a kind of hope in its own way.
And beyond just the work, Hattie does these other things, these quiet little acts of kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Giving cracked corn to Lenore Dove for her geese, sharing yeast someone could barter with, even that pint of her own white liquor.
They seem so small on the surface.
Right, but in that kind of brutal setting, they're massive. They show that need for community, for connection, just refusing to die out.
Absolutely. These aren't just random acts. They're like deliberate choices, acts of agency, pushing back against the Capitol's whole agenda of breaking people down and isolating them. They're building their own, well, moral compass.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's turn to Lenore Dove then.
Yeah.
And the meadow.
She's fascinating.
Totally. Others see this beautiful field, but she sees something much darker. Friend of the condemned. And you understand why, given her history, being named after a dead girl, the mystery around her parents.
It completely shapes her outlook. It's not just pessimism. It's a specific earned darkness based on her reality.
And yet she has this music.
Yes, her talent and the fact she negotiates with the mayor performing just so she can practice piano, that shows incredible resourcefulness. She's fighting for her own personal growth, for her inner life, against everything.
It's amazing. And that conversation about the sun rising. Asking if you can imagine it rising on a world without a reaping.
Oh, that gets me every time.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's such a simple question, but it holds this profound, aching desire for something completely different, for freedom.
A world beyond the Capitol's shadow. And then there's the gift, the flint rock.
Right. So symbolic. It makes fire, which is obviously crucial later. But even Ma, who's usually so wary of Lenore, she sees its practical value.
That little bit of approval, it matters. And the inscription.
Or H, I love you like all fire. LD.
It just speaks volumes about how deep their connection is. That all fire.
Yeah.
It's everything. Intense, consuming, maybe even dangerous, but total.
Then the reaping itself happens.
Yeah.
And Lenore's first reaction. To volunteer for Haymitch. Instantly.
No hesitation, pure instinct to protect.
And even when the peacekeepers threaten her, force her back. Her refusal to cry for the cameras. That silent defiance. It's pure strength. Pure loyalty.
She won't give them the show they want. And that final moment, that wail from the ridge as the train pulls away.
Oh, it was heartbreaking.
It is. But it's also rage, isn't it? Raw grief and fury let out on her own terms, away from the Capitol's eyes. It's one last act of defiance, really.
Definitely. Okay, thinking about the reaping more broadly. That detail about the peacekeepers insisting on the flag being displayed in the window.
It's so small, but so telling. It's how oppression works, isn't it? Seeping into everyday life, these little demands that enforce compliance.
And the mayor, when he makes the announcement, his tone. It's disapproving. You catch that hint of resistance, even from someone inside the system.
Yeah, it suggests not everyone is completely cowed, even if they can't act openly. But then you contrast that with someone like Drusilla Sickle.
Oh, just callousness personified. The Capitol just wants entertainment. They want that tearful goodbye.
And Plutarch, already manipulating things, trying to get those reaction shots, it lays bare how manufactured the whole spectacle is. It's all for the audience back home.
Yet you also see resistance in the McCoys. Their blanket refusal to put on a show.
It's quiet, passive, maybe, but it's still resistance. They're refusing to play the Capitol's game, holding on to their dignity.
Then the train journey. That contrast is just immediate, isn't it? District 12's poverty versus the Capitol. Even the sandwiches seem luxurious.
And Maisley's reaction when the attendant sort of dismisses their lack of proper plates or whatever.
Yes, her sharp defense, that flash of District 12 pride, refusing to be looked down upon.
It's great. And Plutarch's attempts at friendliness, like offering the sandwiches, you can read that as just another form of control, right? Trying to manage them.
Yeah, softening them up, maybe. And the fact that District 12 has no mentors waiting, it just highlights how disadvantaged they are from the very start.
Completely on their own, which makes what happens in training even more interesting.
Like Ampert, he's only 12, but he's thinking strategically.
Yeah, his optimism is surprising, saying the newcomers outnumber the careers, maybe they should hunt them down. It's bold, proactive.
Unexpected, definitely. And BT.
BT.
The potato bat.
Such a moment of brilliance, just pure ingenuity flashing out.
It shows the kind of hidden intelligence the Capitol just doesn't see or chooses to ignore in the districts. Potential they underestimate.
Then the encounter with President Snow.
Always unsettling. Even here, early on, his presence, and he's physically unwell, which somehow makes it even creepier.
Right. There's this sense of decay, but also immense chilling power.
And the fact that he knows about Lenore Dove, about the Covey, it shows the reach of his surveillance. Nothing is private. No one is insignificant if they catch his eye. And the threat. The direct threat against Lenore, against Haymitch's family, if he doesn't comply. Brutal.
It's absolute control through fear. And then bringing out fake Luella. That's just cruel. Pure psychological manipulation. Twisting memory, inflicting pain.
It really shows the depths of the Capitol's cruelty. But amidst all this, there's the beginning of a plan, right? To break the arena.
Yes, Wires and BT. The idea to flood Sub-A. It's the first real glimmer of active, large-scale rebellion against the games themselves.
Though Haymitch admits he doesn't really understand the mechanics. He has to trust BT.
Which underscores how crucial collaboration is for any kind of resistance. You need different skills, knowledge.
And distributing those explosive sunflowers.
Yeah.
Using Ampert to get them to the District 9 tributes.
That's a huge risk. But it shows them working together, coordinating across districts even in these early stages. Planting seeds of defiance, literally.
Then come the interviews. Another arena, in a way.
Definitely. And Maisley. She doesn't hold back against Drusilla.
No. She's sharp, defiant. Speaking truth to power as much as you can in that situation. It takes guts.
Real courage. And Haymitch's approach is different, isn't it? That calculated rascal persona he adopts for Caesar.
It's a strategy, a performance, playing a role he thinks will give him the best odds, maybe get sponsors, fighting manipulation with his own kind of manipulation.
Playing the game to survive the game.
Right before they go in. That final exchange with Lenore. The promises.
I'll see you soon. Promise. Promise.
And that recurring declaration, I love you like all fire. It's so intense, holding onto that connection right at the threshold of violence.
So anchors him, perhaps, and then the stripping away of the training clothes, putting on the arena gear.
That physical change. It feels symbolic, doesn't it? Shedding oneself, becoming the tribute, entering the Capitol's twisted reality.
Yeah. And the games begin. The arena itself. Described as beautiful.
Which is just the ultimate deception, isn't it? This beautiful place designed for death.
A deadly facade. Haymitch's first moves are smart, though. Avoid the cornucopia bloodbath. Head for the woods. Remember Wires' checklist.
He's thinking strategically right from the start.
Yeah.
But then the cannons start firing.
So many. So quickly. It hammers home the brutal reality. And he's already wrestling with who might be an ally, who's part of the plan. The uncertainty is huge.
Yeah. So, looking back across all these moments,
you really see this powerful theme of resilience, don't you? Just pushing through unbelievable oppression. And these characters, they keep showing us how vital those small acts of kindness, of connection really are. They're not just nice gestures, they're acts of resistance, tools for survival.
Absolutely. And you see hope, defiance, even when things seem utterly hopeless. And on the flip side, the book constantly exposes the Capitol's manipulation, how these controlling systems work.
Which is why digging into stories like this matters, I think. They feel fictional, but they give us so much to reflect on about our own world, about power, about oppression, and importantly, about human decency and the will to resist.
Well said. And again, for more ways to think about these kinds of themes, check out our YouTube channel, Mindful Moments. The AI analysis there can offer, different perspectives.
And if you want to keep exploring these kinds of ideas with us, please do subscribe to our podcasts.
Yeah, subscribe. Maybe share this conversation if you found it interesting. And if you want to read the book itself, we'll have links for that.
But most importantly, just keep thinking critically about the stories we consume, right? How they shape our view of the world.
definitely. So maybe a final thought to leave everyone with. Even when faced with a system that feels all-powerful, like the Capitol, what tiny sparks, what small acts of defiance or hope can one person actually ignite?
That's the question, isn't it?